Welcome to season 2 of Barbells, Business, and Boobs, where Christy and I discuss navigating everyday life as lifters, business owners, and being a woman in a male-dominated industry. I feel like we've been gone for so long and so much has happened. So this is going to be kind of a quick catch-up episode before we get right into interviews. So Christy, what has been up?
A lot. I mean, I feel like we stopped recording, we stopped our season, then we both met up at the Olympia, like right away.
Yes.
So that happened during this break, and that feels like already forever ago. Just a lot of traveling. I know you've been traveling a lot, so we've been busy, you know.
Yeah.
That's really it. What's up with you?
I feel like life always looks glamorous to people like listening. You know, we're traveling, we're doing fun stuff, but it's funny because when we stayed together, we actually had to share a bed because I was in like 3 different places at once. I was gone for 2 weeks, and it's like we were both answering random emails like in the hot tub and then like waking up early and like filming stuff. So it was pretty cool to be with someone but like you because we do the same thing, so we get that we're kind of always going. But yeah, a lot has been up. We made a joke about this, so I'm currently icing my thumb. So that's kind of annoying, but it is what it is.
Well, what happened,
That's what
Brittany?
happens. Well, I wanted to try something new. I went snowboarding with my boyfriend and I was just on a bunny hill and I just kind of fell down and jammed my thumb. I don't think it's anything too serious. It's just more of a pain in the ass because it's my dominant hand. So
Yeah,
that's
and
that. But
when you learn skiing and snowboarding, it's so much easier when you learn it when you're like 3 years old, because when you fall, it's like you barely fall. And it's just so much easier when you're younger to learn. And I'm like actually want to learn how to snowboard. I've skied, like once a year, but for a long time. But snowboarding just seems like it just looks cooler. I can't look cool skiing, like just like all bundled up, and it's so hard to like move and stuff. But it is funny because like as we like get older, it is like more nerve wracking to do those kind of things because you're like, I might twist my knee or fall down. But I
yeah,
definitely wear a
it's
helmet.
definitely nerve-wracking. I wore a
Yeah.
helmet.
Okay,
Yes,
good.
no,
Yeah.
I
Everyone,
absolutely wore a
it's
helmet.
2024. We're wearing helmets.
Yes,
So,
yes, I
yeah.
wore a
So,
helmet.
yeah. Gary and I are going to go skiing and he snowboards, I ski. And I thought since I skied, I was going to go so much faster than him, but no, he was still really fast. So, we're going to go in a couple weeks in Virginia. So, I'm super, super excited. Is your thumb going to like affect anything that you're doing with the upper body now? Because I know you're like finally training upper body again. And actually, Gary showed me a video. He's like, Brady's rowing like 100-pound dumbbells like it's nothing. And I'm like, I know, that's Brady. You're like, I took upper
Yeah,
body
I
off.
hope.
Tell us why you took upper body off and like, why you're
Okay,
training it again.
so yeah, I think this is kind of actually a cool story, and it just goes to show that you can kind of do whatever you want with your own training. So I never fully took upper body off, but I went from training it
Okay.
3 to 4 times a week to just once a week and just light, like just some like lateral raises, like pretty. I hate to I hate to say girly, but like to me, I was kind of teasing myself like, oh, this is like very like like this is what they would do in like an exercise class. But my lower body training day was still so gruesome. I was like getting dirty, but my upper body day I was like, do I even like really need to eat on this days? I don't feel like I'm doing anything.
Yeah.
So I did it because I kind of just wanted to see if I could grow my legs and shrink my upper body. And it was really cool just to like try my own little experiment. But also I was having a lot of like arm numbness and tingling at night because I think that like my traps were so overdeveloped from years and years of rowing and strongman. So I kind of wanted to just like grow my delts and shrink my traps. And I did do that. And I was like, okay, cool. And then I got an opportunity to do slap fight, which obviously like the more upper body torque and strength you have, the better. So I went back to upper body training about 6 weeks ago. And it's actually been really fun because I definitely don't have my bench press or my pressing strength, but like my back strength and stuff came back. And it's been nice to do it without pain just from taking that time off. And already like my boyfriend teased me yesterday. He's like, wow, you can look at a dumbbell rack and grow. I was like, yeah, I can.
Yeah, I know.
My arms
You were born for this. You were definitely made for this.
Yeah.
So yeah,
yeah.
it's just funny because you've always been so insanely strong. It just goes to show like it does come back fast, and also it's like I wonder how much we'd have to take off to like actually, because it's harder to build muscle than it is to maintain the muscle. But I wonder how long we have to take off for stuff to actually atrophy.
Well,
Have you ever had an injury
that's
that your like muscles like went away? Like, have you
yeah,
ever had an injury like
yeah.
that?
It's really fascinating because and I think it's proven to me and it's helped me be a better coach because it's like you think that like a couple days off, like you're losing everything and you don't have that pump and you don't have that blood in there. But when I like, for example, when I got my cast off after 16 weeks of not doing anything when I broke my left wrist, like I remember feeling my tricep and for the first time, like actually feeling what an atrophied muscle felt like. And it was pretty disgusting. But as soon as I got, yeah,
Oh my
no, it
gosh.
felt like soft and jiggly and just very, very
Oh my
weird. But as
gosh.
soon as honestly, after just a couple sessions, like once you get a pump and get that blood flow back, it comes back pretty quick, which has been exciting
Yeah.
to see. So I think that's why I always just want to preach like having such a solid baseline like you and I do and just
Hmm.
being consistent for years. Like it's almost like you're allowed to get injured or take time off and you can come back to it. So even something like this, like my thumb, which I'm sure is going to affect upper body training, it's like I know it's not a lifelong thing. It's frustrating
Right.
with day-to-day activities right now, but I know it's just one of those things. Like it's
Right.
almost like
When
a
you
bad
go
knee
through
thing. And
enough
it's
of
like,
that
all
kind
right,
of
you'll be
stuff,
fine.
and people who come to mind right now is one, Nancy, who we're gonna have our episode on next, when she had like the crazy injury, and then you could see like, I'm like, oh my god, her leg looks small, and then all of a sudden it's like big again, and you're like, how, like you like lifted a weight again, and like, now she's looking juicy and jacked like lower body again. I'm like, how'd you do that? And then also I saw Trey
Mm-hmm.
Mitchell who got injured at
His
the
Achilles.
Rogue. He's already squatting again. I saw him squatting,
Yeah.
not like, I mean, heavy for me, but not crazy heavy for him. But still, I'm like the resilience of these, athletes, because you see those people get injured, over and over. These not people's first injuries, right? Like you get injured over and over and over again, but it's just the people who last are the ones who just well, I guess the rest of the year I'm recovering, but the next year I'm gonna like go after it. So no, I think that's
Yeah.
that's a good mindset where it's like, yeah, like let's say you have a client who just start lifting and they hurt their thumb and they're like, it's the end of the world. Like they're they have to quit lifting forever. Like they're gonna lose all their gains. But you've been through it before, you can just be like, chill out. We're gonna do lots of leg extensions, you're gonna be fine. Like
Yeah.
so
There's
that's
always a way to
crazy.
work around it. And if you're someone that's listening and you're injured, definitely go back to our season 1 and listen to our injuries podcast because working on the mindset around the injury is the most important aspect. And I should probably go back and listen to this because last night, for example, I was training back. Like I went snowboarding and I was like, I can't miss my back workout. So I was training back and like there were things I had to skip and I was getting pretty down on myself and frustrated. And I'm like, just you got to snap out of it when you get like that because bad attitude isn't going to help shit.
Right. Oh my gosh. Exactly. That just
Anyways,
reminds me.
I want to
Yeah.
switch gears a little bit because I was
Okay.
just
What's up?
joking because
Yeah.
I want to talk about because we're
What?
not moms to actual babies, like we don't have human babies, but you have 4 dogs, and
Yeah, we
I
Brady
was just
bunched it.
house sitting. Yeah, I was just house sitting. That's one of the reasons why we didn't do the podcast because like I had so many animals. I was house sitting for my friend Ciara, who we should have on it sometime because she was a powerlifter and now she's a wellness pro. So at one point there was 3 dogs and 2 cats, and it was just so much. But I think it's just we work from home, and it sounds like a first world problem, like managing a zoo. But you were just saying like Gary's away for the last couple days, and like it's hard. So I just think it's kind of funny because
I feel
we do
stupid
everything from
complaining.
home.
Now that we're on the podcast, I feel stupid complaining. It's like, oh my God, I have to like do all the chores by myself. But yeah, it is. I think so. It kind of brings me back to like, working from home and like is really great. But sometimes removing yourself from that, I honestly sometimes can get my best work done if I go to a coffee shop for 3 hours rather than be at home for 8 hours because I get so distracted and stuff. And I love our dogs, but yeah, they are a handful. So it is kind of like it is like another job, You're like, oh my God, like I have so much, and they all have their own little unique quirks and stuff like that. But I get it. Like I know that you were struggling too with like taking care of all the dogs and stuff, but it's worth it. But I definitely think that getting out of the house and going somewhere to work actually helps me focus more, which is crazy because it can be like chaos around me. But like at home, if a dog barks, I'm like, I'm done for the day. Like, I can't handle this. So, but
Yeah, no, I get it. I just wanted to mention it because I think it's funny that we both, have businesses, have podcasts, and have like all these dogs around. And it just makes me, yeah, I just want to say, like, it just, because people complain all the time about like how hard life is, but you and I usually don't really complain ever. So I just, yeah, just giving you a little bit of credit.
it's really not that bad over here. But yeah, okay. One question I forgot to ask you because I haven't confirmed it with you yet, and maybe I did, but are you going to the Arnold this year?
Yes, I'm
You
100%
are.
going to the
Okay.
Arnold's.
Are you going to go to spectate? Are you working anything or what's up?
I don't. So I have my plane tickets. My boyfriend's from Columbus, so we're gonna visit family and go to the Arnold. I've never ever been just as a spectator. I've always been as a competitor or working it. So I would like to work the animal cage, or I'd like to do something, but I haven't heard anything. So I'm just kind of playing it by ear. So
Yeah.
I don't have, and I do have one client competing in World's Strongest Firefighter, but I don't have anybody else at the moment. So I'm not entirely sure what the Arnold is going to look like. What are you doing
Yeah.
for it?
Well, so Gary and I are going to go. We have a couple friends who are competing in the Arnold Amateur Strongman. And then I'm really excited to see Thor and Martins come back for Strongman. The contest, I think it's going to be like a really cool show. Like, I'm excited. I'm bummed I'm not competing this year, but I kind of like decided that it'd be better if I just compete next year because I'll actually be strong enough to hopefully do as good as I'd like to. And I was a long time ago invited to lift in the animal cage, which I kind of laugh at because I don't like right now my lifts aren't, I'm not, I'm sure there's be some really big lifters in there. But I have not reheard anything about that even after reaching out. So I'm not going to be in there, but I have lifted an animal cage once as like a spectator. They invited people to like bench 135. So you know what? That's okay. That's like checked off my bucket list. But honestly, I'm really excited to not a booth. I'm really excited to watch Strongman and watch people say hi to friends. Like I feel like I've had to miss so many. Like we had to miss World's Strongest Man, Rogue Invitational, The Shaw, like all these shows that I really want to go to and actually just watch Strongman. Like I just want to watch it. Like of course I'd love to like commentate or do something that like I love that. I want to do that, but I'm really excited to like just go there, be a spectator. It's been a quick trip, see my friends compete, see you. We actually be able to like, it still goes fast. We're really like, hey, 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 like we won't be able to spend too much time together, but like it, I'm excited for it. So we were kind of debating like,
Yeah,
is it
you're
worth the
right.
money, the worth the trip? So we're going to Italy in a few months and like just whatever, let's just do it. We're staying, Airbnb with our friends that's competing as well, and a quick flight. The biggest expense will be, of course, dog daycare, but I'm excited because I like every time I miss it after watching on a live stream, I'm bummed, and then when I compete, it's like I'm gonna lock myself back in the room. It's overstimulation if you're competing. You know, the first time I competed at Arnold was 2020 though during COVID was honestly great because there's no spectators, which is pros and cons of that too. But it was less stimulating. But I'm excited. We're just gonna go and spectate and see friends, and I'm excited about that. I have not been able to do that in a long time.
I feel like what you just said kind of resonated with me. So maybe I will actually stop trying to push to work and just spectate because I don't know what that's like either. So that would actually to because I was just thinking
Right.
like it would be really cool to be able to like hug you and not be like, all right, I gotta go bye. Like to
Yeah.
actually like sit and watch something. That's
Yeah.
kind of why I usually opt. I do love commentating because I often get like the best view and I know exactly what's going on because I have to be on top of it. But it would be nice just to kind of enjoy friends, something I've been working on for this
Right.
year. I know you and I shared like our like kind of talked a little bit about our own goals, but like it was funny because usually my goals are all like athletic or work based, but one thing for me that was important this year was to like enjoy time because I'm not really good at living in the moment. I'm often thinking about like how can I make this work related, or how can I make money off this, or how can I do this? So I think what you just said was a good reminder to like, maybe I should just experience going for once.
Just experience going. And not even me. I'm like, oh, it's a great opportunity to collaborate with people. Like, you know, go to a gym and record. But even with that, I'm just like, I mean, I just want to be there. I don't want to have to like run around. I want to go. I mean, the motivation behind it is to watch the strongman and then watch my friends compete. So I don't want to get put too much extra in there. And I would like to start traveling more for work and like collaborate with people, but our schedules just get very full, you know that. But that kind of brings me, let's talk a little bit about our New Year's goals a little bit. If you want to share one of yours that's other than that, what you just said, because you had like a really good system that you talked about on your Instagram post of like how you set your goals each year and stuff like that.
Yeah, so I try to divide it into different buckets, like personal, career, finances, things like that. And for the first time, like personal goals were really important to me. And one of my goals that I feel comfortable sharing, so I don't think, I think there's
you don't have to share
certain
everything.
goals just keep to yourself. But I realized one of my main goals and values in life is like family is really important to me. And I've been putting my career first for the past several years, and I haven't been with my family on Christmas for 2 years. So that was one of my goals, I have several weddings this year, like a lot of weddings on the East Coast that are all family members. And then I also want to do Christmas so I wanted to make sure I don't miss a holiday. So I want to do one holiday with my family. And I know it kind of probably sounds like a ridiculous goal, but I never wanted to be someone that put family on the back burner. And I feel like I've done that. So I'm kind of ashamed that I've done that. So I want to turn that around because life really is short. So
it's so weird that we're both going through like realizations at the same time, because I have the same thing. And like we both live far from family. And lately, I think what happened was I have a niece now who's 2, and seen her grow up from afar. I've seen her a lot. I've seen her, multiple times.
My niece is the same age.
5 times, and you see how fast. And I see that my little sister can go pick her up for my big sister. She's her aunt. And they spend like a lot of like all the holidays, all the birthdays together and stuff. And I'm over here, kind of like on the outs, and I always have been, honestly, just because I've always been someone. I moved away from home, and then I kind of briefly moved back to St. Louis, but everyone kind of has more of like that normal life and cadence now, and I'm far away, and I don't want to wake up in 10, 15 years and be like, oh, like I missed out that part of Margot, my niece's life, like that. So, and obviously like my parents too, I feel like for maybe 15 years, I was very selfish and really I was trying to make my life work, right? I was trying to make it on my own and be successful, but like I missed a lot of family vacations, a lot of holidays, stuff like that, where, I think I want to make more a priority as well. And, which is, also hard. There's so many things, and there's so many obligations you have in a year, but just to make that, like, I think what you did, spend Christmas with your family, that's a great goal. Like for me, I'd like to go visit them once on a non-holiday, because I know I'm going to see them on Thanksgiving, but I want to see them before that, just me, and go on a trip and like just do normal everyday things. But yeah, it's hard. It's very weird when you're separated from your family and like they have their own life and then you kind of have your own life. Super weird. But just trying to, like you said, like make more of a effort at least, and not being like, oh, I'm too busy, I'm too stressed out. Like for what? Like our coaching, like whatever. Like there's only so many years that we have with our family.
Exactly. No, that's a good way to put it. I recently, about a month ago, finished this book that actually Nancy Johnson recommended to me. She had talked about it at the Shaw Classic and talked about how she read it during her darkest days when she was recovering from an injury. So I'll bring that up to her. But it was a book called Relentless, and it was written by a coach who coached athletes like LeBron James, Tiger Woods, you know, some of the best in the world. And he actually says, which was pretty eye opening, said that you cannot be good at everything. Like one of those buckets will not, you know, if you're a high achiever as an athlete or a businessman or etc., one of the buckets is going to be empty. And I feel like I had that hard realization that like, okay, like my family bucket is kind of empty. So it was interesting to see. And I, like you had used the word selfish. That's how I felt, how I was in my 20s with my athletic career, which I don't regret at all. And I still want to be an athlete, but I don't have 120% to give anymore. And that's another realization. Like something about being in your 30s, like I can't stay up all night and then train the next day and work. Like I suffer, I get sick. So that's been an interesting kind of transition from having unlimited energy and feeling like that will never happen to me to kind of like, all right, like life is hard. Stuff does catch up to you.
Yeah, no, it definitely does. And that too, I feel like it's just our personality type. We feel a lot of pressure to succeed in athletics and then also our business. And so everything else kind of we kind of like push away, or like, you know, even friendships and stuff like that too. I had to make that a priority when I moved here eventually, because I was like, man, I need friends. But I've been like, oh, I'm too
Mm-hmm.
busy with work. I'm too busy with, you know, I have too many things going on. Um, but you know, you got to like acknowledge what you need and work on it, even if it's like social.
Yeah, absolutely. How about you? So, do you want to share any of your, besides the family one, are there any other goals? I know some of them. I don't know if you want to talk about any of like your competition or deadlifting. You could totally keep it hush, but I feel like you're talking about it on social media. So,
Oh, I mean, no, I mean, like, it's not like anything big is happening, but I feel really good. And like, I want to win nationals as a 160 and compete in the Arnold next year. So those are my big goals, like, you know, say it out loud. But you don't know, you know, until you go. Like, I have a competition in April, and there's five other competitors. There's six of us, and I don't know any of them, you know. You know, like I've competed with we have our next guest Nancy Johnson before, you know, Mel Peacock and all those like bigger names kind of like gone up into like the pro world. But with all the up and coming girls, like I don't really know them. So it's like I don't know what to expect. So I don't want to be like, I'm gonna just like crush everyone at this regionals. I don't know. So I'm really motivated. That's motivating me to like be better, because I don't think it's gonna be I don't think it's gonna be easy. I'm not saying like it's gonna be easy for me to win nationals, but I feel like at least I'm in a good position, like finally, mentally, emotionally, and physically to make those steps. I think like I didn't realize how much stress of just life I had before, and I think that was really contributing to my overall pain and my injury and my inflammation. And I just feel like kind of like I have like that kind of anxiety was really dragging me down and my performance down, and now I can actually have like a good chance to be my best. And you know, like you said, things are taking more precedent and priority over athletics as we get older, and I do feel that happening to me. So I would like to take this chance of this year, and not saying it's my last year at all. Like I still have a long time. Like Gary won the Arnold, I think he was like 37, and I'm 33, almost 34. It's not like, oh, you have to like, you're in your 30s, you can't do strongman now, you know? Like I think I'll
no.
keep getting better for a while, but you know, we like to travel, we like to, you know, spend money on other things. Like I don't have as much time. I'm, you know, trying to make my business succeed and all that stuff. So, like you said, there's only so much you can put in buckets. I don't want to just like not work on everything else just because I want to win, you know, a strongman title. It's super important to me, but I mean, I gotta like work on my other goals too. So I'm excited about that. Um, those are like my like, you know, pretty like tangible goals. Like just say I want to win nationals. You know, it's not as like thought provoking as, you know, spend more time with family and stuff like that. But I do have those goals as well. We
No.
talk about that. And I definitely have those more like personal goals, like you said, like some things are better kept private.
Yeah,
Like,
of course.
but yeah.
So I hope that we're both, I don't, what date in April is your contest and what contest is it?
It's the first week of April. It's called South Carolina Strongest Man and Woman. It's regionals for Strongman
Oh, that's a big one.
Corporation.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and you don't know the date of your next contest, but
They said sometime in April, so that would be, I mean, fingers crossed, that would be amazing if we're both competing at the same weekend. I would love that. I don't know where mine
no,
is.
I
Mine was
wouldn't because
originally
I want to
supposed to
come
be.
fly and see you. I want it to be a different weekend so I can come
You
see
want to come see
you.
me get slapped?
Yes. Like that'd be
I think,
crazy.
it's
I
funny
Vegas.
because
I love Vegas. I want to go there again. So
yeah, Vegas is fun. I've been thinking about, it's funny because we both have competed like in strength sports. So I've never done a sport where, it's like fighting or MMA or anything like that. So I was thinking about how I would prepare. Obviously I'm getting stronger. I want to knock out my opponent, but I'm like, okay, how am I going to take that? And I was actually
oh, I
thinking
know.
about like
I
how
just would hate it.
yeah,
I would hate it. But
I'm actually like I'm like looking forward to it. Like I want to see how much I can take. I feel like maybe I'm crazy, but I also feel like I know how to get to a place where I can really block out pain and like almost be excited about it.
yeah,
Yes, I know. I sound psycho saying this.
I know you're gonna be great. Like I think honestly, I think this might be like your sport. This must be really good at it.
Yeah.
Like
The thing I'm
'cause
most
you're
nervous about
really
is
strong.
obviously the risk of head injuries and
Oh, because falling
I've had a
backwards
couple
and
of minor
stuff.
concussions.
Oh, by being hit so hard
Yeah.
or from
But
falling.
both. So that's the
Mm.
one thing I am a little bit
Well, I'll let you
nervous
borrow
for.
this.
Yeah, you can slap me with a little bitty thing. So, anyways, I'm excited for this season. And one other thing I just wanted to mention was because I want to talk about this at a later time. I am so excited. I finally started a little bit at TRT. I've been struggling for years with trying to get my hormones normal. Everything doesn't always feel good, and my testosterone has been at a 17. Actually, that was the highest it's been in 2 years. It was 17, so I just started that along with some progesterone. So I want to talk about that at some point because I feel like it's still kind of not necessarily in our industry because we're around fitness people and bodybuilders, but like to the average everyday person, TRT and injecting yourself might seem very intimidating. Even to me, it still does. So I want to talk about that at some point. It just started, so I'm taking notes. Obviously, I'm not off to a great start with like a potentially broken thumb, but we'll see how my body feels.
Yeah, I'm really excited to feel like I think it'd be great. I think we'd have a lot of questions. So if you're listening, you have questions, definitely throw them our way so we can kind of explore that in our episode because it is. I can understand why it would be like it's really scary to kind of mess with, quote unquote, like mess with your hormones like that, especially with the stigma around like women and testosterone. But we actually have more testosterone in our bodies than we do about estrogen. Maybe I'm making that up, but you know what? That's okay. But we'll fact check it for a later episode. But like with testosterone, it's so funny because people always are like, "Oh my god, you all like your test is." I had like a like troll comment like, "Oh, your testosterone must be higher than mine," and I'm
Yeah.
like, "No, it's like 12, or it was
Yeah.
before I started TRT." So I'm like, no, it was like super low. But yeah, I think it was like 20. But we'll definitely talk about that and our results and all that stuff. But I totally get it. I was super scared. I started TRT last year and I was really scared because, you get scared of like the side effects and all that fun stuff. But with the actual TRT dose of like nothing, it really is just barely anything. And I think it has been an improvement in my life and mostly honestly with my overall confidence and like clarity of thinking and all that stuff. So we have a lot to talk about there. So I'm really hoping that you really like it and it gives you the results you want. It has nothing drastically has changed, but it's because with a dose giving you by a medical provider, it's going to be very, very small. So
Yeah, exactly. And I think what you said is really important. Like you said, more clarity. because as a woman, we do fluctuate more. Like it's kind of, I'm almost jealous of men because it's like they're so stable all the time. And it's like women
I
just,
told Gary that. I'm like, I'm so jealous of you. Like
yeah,
you just, because I'm like, all right, 3 weeks out of the month, I just feel like there's something wrong. I'm either like crazy, my weight's up, or I'm bloated, or I have
yeah,
stomach problems, or I can't focus. There's something on my hormones at each point of the month where I'm just like, cool. So a week out of the month, I have great lifts. My
feel
weight
great.
is what my weight is. I'm not bloated.
Yeah.
I feel great. So most of my life, I feel like shit. Or like something's going on. Like, so yeah, I'm definitely jealous, but I also am just like, I wouldn't want to be a man. I do like being a woman, but like I am also like of those like physical things. Yeah, I'm jealous, sure, but there's definitely pros about being a woman and being more. It makes us a little bit more empathetic and all that stuff. But you know what? I feel a little bit better on a little bit of TRT.
Yeah.
My testosterone's still well below 100, and a normal man's what, like 500, and when they're on TRT, like 1,000, more. So
Something like that. Yeah. Awesome. Well, I know this intro episode was a little bit kind of everywhere, but I hope it gave you a preview for the season, where actually today we release these episodes later, but we're interviewing Nancy Johnson. And then next week we're doing Hunter Henderson for an OnlyFans episode. So we're really going to kind of dive in this season to more topics. So again, would really appreciate if you all listening want to share, subscribe, and then we have an anonymous question box that we actually have been getting a lot of questions. I do want to point out some of the questions we have gotten. We already have episodes on them. We've gotten a lot about breast implants and being an athlete. Again, Christy and I have a whole episode on that. So make sure you go back to season 1 and just read the titles. We have great descriptions. So yeah, we appreciate
yeah, and if you have anyone
the
that you
support, and we're
want to be
excited for the season.
Yeah, and if you have anyone you want to be a guest, you can do that in the anonymous question box too, because we're really excited to have more people on. Like you said, Sierra should definitely come on. Sierra should definitely be on. But yeah.
Awesome. Well, thanks for listening, guys, and we will talk to you soon. We're about to hop off and we have an interview in 10 minutes.
All right.